Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we are going to crack a totally massive mystery that honestly completely challenges our everyday common sense. I promise you, there's no magic trick here, no camera illusions, just pure, incredibly fascinating physics. Let's get right into it. So, I want you to picture this core paradox. Why on earth does a 200,000-ton cruise ship float perfectly while a tiny little pebble hits the bottom of the ocean instantly? Just imagine that massive cruise ship in your head for a second. It's basically a giant floating steel city, right? It's packed with swimming pools, buffets, huge theaters, and thousands of people. It is mind-bogglingly heavy. Then, think about a standard pebble. It weighs almost absolutely nothing. You can flick it with 2 fingers. Yet, if we drop both of them into the big blue ocean, the giant ship just happily bobs right on top of the waves, and that tiny, lightweight pebble? It plunges straight down into the dark depths. It creates this instant knowledge gap in our brains, doesn't it? Like, if heavy things are supposedly meant to sink, why is the single heaviest thing in this scenario the one doing the floating? Okay, let's dive into this because the real answer completely changes how we measure the physical world around us. Here is the big secret. Weight does not equal buoyancy. If you guessed that weight was the reason things sink or float, well, you'd actually be completely wrong. But seriously, don't sweat it, because it is literally the most common mistake everyone makes. The true answer, the absolute secret to our giant floating city, is density. You see, weight is really just a measure of gravity pulling down on an object. But density is a whole different ballgame. It's the ultimate key to understanding how physical materials actually interact with one another. To really wrap our heads around what density actually means, let's look at a super relatable visual analogy. Think of density simply as how much stuff, which scientists officially call mass, is packed into a certain amount of space, which we call volume. Imagine a city bus. On a Monday morning, it is crammed wall-to-wall with people heading to work and school. Every single seat is taken, people are practically standing shoulder to shoulder in the aisles. It is packed tight. That represents high density. There is a whole lot of mass crammed into that one specific space. Now compare that to a Sunday evening. It's the exact same bus. It has the exact same volume, meaning it has the exact same amount of space inside, but there are only 2 people sitting in it. It's mostly just empty space. That represents low density. The stuff is simply not packed in tightly at all. Now, let's translate our bus analogy into a formal scientific definition. Density equals mass divided by volume. In the science lab, we have to measure these things super precisely. We measure our mass, the stuff, in grams. And we measure our volume, the actual space that stuff takes up, in either milliliters for liquids or cubic centimeters for solids. So when we divide the mass by the volume, we get our standard official unit for density, grams per cubic centimeter. Just think of it as calculating exactly how many passengers are squeezed into every single square inch of our science bus. And this brings us right to the absolute golden rule for grade 7 science. If you memorize just one single number from this entire explainer today, make absolutely sure it is 1.0 grams per cubic centimeter. This is the precise, exact density of pure liquid water. Water is essentially our universal measuring stick. It is the perfect baseline we use to judge every other object on Earth, whether we are dropping things into a little beaker in the science lab or dropping massive ships into the ocean. So the crucial point is, this single number gives us the ultimate cheat code for knowing whether an object goes up or goes down in the water. It's the sink or float rule, and it is beautifully straightforward. If an object's density is greater than 1.0, it sinks. Bam! It is simply heavier for its specific size than water is. But if an object's density is mathematically less than 1.0, it floats. It literally doesn't matter if that object is the size of a tiny glass marble or the size of a massive steel skyscraper. This rule is absolute. Now, what's really interesting is we can actually see this rule in action with things you probably have sitting in your fridge right now. Imagine dropping 2 unopened soda cans into a tank of water. Plop, plop. We drop in a can of regular Coke, and it sinks straight to the bottom like a stone. Then we drop in a can of Diet Coke, and it bobs right back up to the surface and floats. How wild is that? They are the exact same size. They have the exact same volume. They are even made of the exact same aluminum. So why in the world do they behave so radically differently? Well, regular Coke is packed full of dissolved sugar. All that sugar adds a pretty significant amount of mass without changing the volume of the can, just like cramming way more people onto our Monday morning bus. This pushes its overall density to be greater than 1.0. Diet Coke, on the flip side, uses just a tiny amount of artificial sweetener to get its flavor. Less mass inside the exact same volume means its density stays below 1.0, and so it floats. Let's move to and see how this builds when we take this concept even further. Watch what happens in your mind's eye as we pour different liquids into a really tall glass cylinder to create a density tower. You see, liquids actually have different densities too. They don't just naturally mix together right away when you pour them. They actually stack right on top of each other based on how tightly packed their particles are. First, we pour in the honey. It's the densest liquid we have here with the most tightly packed particles, so it sinks and settles right at the very bottom. Next goes the dish soap, stacking perfectly on top of the honey. Then our standard water goes right into the middle. Above the water, vegetable oil floats right on top of that. And finally, rubbing alcohol, which is the absolute least dense liquid of the entire bunch, sits safely at the very peak of our tower. It's just this gorgeous visual of physics at work. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what is happening on a totally massive scale out in nature. Our density tower isn't just a cool visual lab trick. It actually explains how the Earth's oceans function. Out in the real world, cold, extremely salty ocean water has super tightly packed particles, making it incredibly dense. Because of that high density, it sinks all the way down to the very bottom of the ocean floor. As it sinks and pushes other, less dense water out of the way, it drives these massive underwater rivers called ocean currents. This dense, sinking water is literally responsible for moving vital nutrients all around the globe, which keeps marine ecosystems alive and healthy. Our little lab cylinder is basically showing you the physical engine that drives the entire planet. All right, let's put all this to the test with a quick lab check. We've got a mystery rock. We put it on our digital scale, and it tells us it has a mass of exactly 50 grams. We drop it into a graduated cylinder of water, and it displaces, or basically pushes up, 10 milliliters of water. That displaced water tells us the rock's exact volume is 10 cubic centimeters. So using our formula from earlier, what is its density? And based on our absolute golden rule, is this mystery rock going to sink or float? I'll give you just a second to run the numbers in your head. Okay, did you get it? Let's check the math together real quick. We take our mass of 50 grams and we divide it by our volume of 10 milliliters. 50 divided by 10 equals exactly 5 grams per cubic centimeter. And since we know the baseline density of water is 1.0, well, 5 is definitely way bigger than 1. So it's going down. The rock sinks. Boom. Perfect density calculation. You just did real physics. Now, armed with all of this knowledge, we are finally ready to return to our massive opening paradox. We know the rock sinks because it's dense, solid mass pushes its overall density all the way up to 5. But what about the 200,000-ton steel cruise ship? Well, here is the big ship resolution. Ships are not solid blocks of steel. I mean, if they were, they'd sink like a stone instantly. Instead, ships are meticulously designed with massive, massive open spaces inside them. We're talking wide hallways, giant cabins, cavernous engine rooms, and multi-story atriums. They are completely full of air, and air has a tremendously low density. So when you average out the heavy steel of the hull with the massive volume of incredibly light air contained inside it, the ship's overall average density drops to mathematically less than 1.0. It effectively acts like a giant floating steel bubble. The total mass is definitely huge, but the volume is so expansive that the overall density is lower than the ocean water it sits on. Which brings us to the end of our explainer today with one final mind-bending thought. We've learned that density isn't just about how heavy something is. It's really about how compact it is. The world around us is totally full of these crazy density illusions. So I want to leave you with this provocative question to ponder. If a 200,000-ton steel ship is secretly low density, what other massive objects in our everyday world are tricking us? The next time you see something incredibly heavy, don't just blindly assume how it will behave. Don't just think about its weight. Ask yourself, what is its volume? What is its true density? Keep that scientific curiosity fired up, and I will catch you in the next explainer.